night winds whisper softly, why did you do wrong? In the distance there's a coyote howl, sounds like his love is gone.
A lot of people think bluegrass music is new, but it was created about 1946 by a gentleman by the name of Bill Monroe, and of course all of the people that were surrounding him and involved with him, and a lot of men and women created this music. And I became a fan of not only him, but of other members of the first generation, the Stanley Brothers and the Don Reno, and the list goes on and on. In 2002, I was at my kitchen table reading an article about another bluegrass pioneer that passed away. And then I would hear about another pioneer that passed away. And all of a sudden I realized that that generation was disappearing. And I didn't think that anyone was capturing their story. And I thought, what a sad thing that no one has really been able to capture their story or how they created the music. So I was living in New York, Brooklyn at the time, and I had a number of friends who were filmmakers. And I started to tell them about, bluegrass music, and that it was a new music, and that the first generation was starting to pass away, and that a number of them would be gathered at the opening of the Bluegrass Museum in Owensboro, Kentucky. And Dave Fasano, a filmmaker and somebody who is a shooter, shot film and video, said this would be an amazing opportunity to start capturing their story. And so we went down to Owensboro, Kentucky, and started to capture the interviews. And the thing that we found most amazing and welcoming is that many of them had felt ignored, and many of them had wanted to tell their story. And it is an amazing story. It's an amazing story of creating something basically out of nothing and making it one of the most popular musical genres that's completely spread around the world. We started the initial shooting in 2002, and when we came back and we looked at the dailies and we saw the interviews, we said, wow, this is some really powerful stuff. And so Tina Reedus, my soulmate and partner, decided to set up more interviews. And so we started making road trips to festivals and going to Nashville and into the homes of the pioneers, because many of them weren't able to perform any longer. Some of them were sick and some of them were dying. And most of them invited us into their homes and wanted us to hear their stories. And we started making the road trips, doing the interviews, and meeting that first generation. And you can imagine my thrill as somebody who loves the music to be able to sit next to Josh Graves and hear him tell his story, and him to offer me a cup of coffee and to watch a little video clip together. And that was repeated over and over and over again. And Kenny Baker, and the list just goes on and on. And some of them I had met backstage, so they were very comfortable in telling things, and we wanted to edit this to create a beautiful story, a story that really tells about the humanity and also the heroicism of making a musical genre that is living and breathing today and extremely valued across the world. I feel that I've almost became friends with many of the people that I interviewed, and felt an allegiance to them, and felt that it was important to finally tell their story. Tragedy happens in every walk of life, and we were having hard times raising money, and also Tina, who was really the sort of logistics person and co-producer in this project, she passed away in 2011 from cancer. And I felt that maybe the project would never be completed, but she gave me a wonderful gift in the fact that she said to me on her deathbed, she said that she wanted me to complete this film. So, armed with her telling me that this film needed to be completed, I decided to have a Kickstarter program, crowdsource funding, and finishing the editing and finishing any of the interviews. After I created the film, I realized that this film has lasting value. And it may have a small audience, but it will have an audience that's passionate about the music. I think that every future generation is going to want to go back and hear from the originators what it was to make a musical genre, so they have insights. So I see it living forever and spreading, and probably not major theater release, but I also have a dream and hope that someday parts of it, particularly some of the stories, will end up in other films or documentaries that help to document the music. And so I'm just so excited that it is a document that I'm sure will be referenced and reviewed in the future.
Listen close, and you can almost hear the blues.